Bung Bung. Welcome to the Poddies, brought to you by Bung Bung Coffee, the best dark roast that you will ever taste. This coffee can do it all. It's like the Australian fast bowler. It's going to come at you hard, it's going to come at you fast, and it's going to hit you strong. It's going to actually hit you for six though, and I don't know how a bowler does that, but this is a fantastic blend of South American coffee beans from the best coffee countries in the world: Colombia, Brazil, Peru, and Honduras. These are delicious beans. They do it all for you, and it's the smoothest coffee you've ever had. You know, a nice 18-year Lagavulin just sliding down your throat with no burning sensation. That's the equivalent of this coffee. It is top tier stuff, and if you want some of that top tier stuff to appear on your doorstep, go to bungbungcoffee.com. That's BUNG coffee.com and order yours today. Enter promo code Poddy, that's PODDY, PODDY for 15% off all orders, and that's because you're a loyal Welcome to the Poddy listener. 15% off. That's beautiful. Go to claymcmathcomedy.com for all of your podcast merch, your podcast needs, your comedy needs, your Clay McMath needs. claymcmathcomedy.com. You can find all my show dates. The ones that are coming up right now are on the 7th of December at the Cooper's Ale House in Jepps Cross, Adelaide, and the 9th of December at the Aurora Ozone Hotel in Kingscote, Kangaroo Island. Buy your tickets now if you haven't already. We need to sell these out. We need to sell them out because it's not as fun. It's not as fun if the room's not filled with energy. So buy your tickets now. Buy them as Christmas gifts. Take your workmates there as your Christmas party, or your employees there as your Christmas party. It's a fun time. We've never had a bad show. It's me, Jay Michael Bowley, and Justin Saw. What a lineup. 7th and 9th of December. I've got some dates in the new year as well. We'll plug those later. Tell a friend, rate the show 5 stars. Let's start the show.
Welcome to the party. Best show on the internet. Ask anybody. You know it's easy money. Sit back, relax, get your headphones, everybody. Welcome to the party. Blackout in the booth. Every episode's a party. We go hard like Ricky Bobby. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This is welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party, Bung Bung. It's your man Claytron, aka the Big Boss Man, aka the Clumsy Jeweler, because I'm always dropping gems, aka the Milkman, because I always deliver, aka the PhD of podcasting, the Magnum PI of podcasting, the Captain, the Draymond Green of podcasting. I'm sitting here with the Rudy Gobert of podcasting because I've got this game in a chokehold.
That's fucked up, man. I haven't been here for a minute, and that's how you do me.
Well, you're back though.
Yeah, shaking the dust off.
And at least you're not suspended for 5 games. You've just got a 25 grand fine for, I don't know, flailing or something. I don't know why Rudy Gobert got fined.
I need to watch that again. I don't know, why that man got fined.
Yeah. Unbelievable scenes. It wasn't anything. It didn't have anything on the Malice in the Palace, but
nah, not close.
It was personal. Draymond went and grabbed Gobert for no reason, absolutely no reason.
Just found any excuse.
Yeah.
I think he looked at Clay.
Yeah,
I think that's all it took.
I can't believe he got a fine. I'd be appealing that if there's some type of appeals process in the NBA. I don't even know if that's a thing. Is it?
I've never heard of a fine getting appealed, but
I would be.
I just want to watch it again.
Yeah, like you said, I want to watch it again and
what he's done.
Yeah, to get 25 grand fine.
Yeah,
he was literally like arms up, like, hey, look, I'm not doing anything. I was actually pretty impressed with him. He looked super calm, like in the face.
Yeah, some of the still shots look nuts.
Oh, okay. And I thought Klay Thompson looked like way more about it than I would expect from someone that light skinned. But shout out to Light Skin Nation. It was that truly like the first minute of the game?
I think it was the second minute of the game. Pretty sure all those guys had like 2 minutes on the box score at the end.
So what did McDaniel start it?
Yeah, I think Clay was bringing the ball down, or maybe he was just running down. No, he was just running down the court, and McDaniel's kind of got tangled up with him, and
it just got in. It got so heated so quick.
Escalated.
Testosterone, man. something chicks don't need to worry about.
I think those two teams might have had a pretty heated game a couple of weeks back.
Oh, okay.
Or like a few games ago, maybe.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards and Draymond were getting chirpy. Yeah.
So brought that same energy.
Anthony Edwards is next.
And he's next.
Yeah, he's the next like superstar in the league, I think.
Yeah, not gonna argue with you, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a Banchero. I've been a Banchero guy, and I've been watching a lot of his games this year because I got League Pass. Thank you. And like he's efficient and he is a contributor, but he's just not doing what I was expecting him to do.
Second season, he's pretty good for a second year player.
What year's Cade?
Third, I reckon.
I really like Cade. Maybe third year's the year.
Yeah, rough shooter though.
Yeah.
Rough shooter for that position.
Yeah, but similar to Hallie. Hallie's a better shooter, but like his vision's like unparalleled. Well, I guess I just paralleled it to Halliburton. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that I talked a bit about being in Melbourne last episode, and there's a couple of things I missed. And I just got a haircut today, and it reminded me of this. I can't remember actually if I talked about my haircut that I got in Melbourne, but it's just I just get a number one, with a line up as well.
All over?
Yeah, number one all over. Make sure it's lined up or else you look like a child. And beard trim. My barber, who I don't think he's cheap, $45.
No, I wouldn't call that cheap.
No, for a number one.
For a one all over.
Yeah. I went to Melbourne and got the exact same haircut. Granted, it was actually at the place that Dusty, what's his name? From Richmond.
Oh, Dusty Martin.
Dusty Martin gets his haircut. Same place. Now, I don't have an AFL salary. But we walk in and the guy's like, he didn't even know I was from out of town yet, by the way. So I don't know if I don't think he was trying to stitch me up. But I walk in the door and he goes, our FPOS isn't working. You're going to have to pay cash. I was like, I didn't bring my wallet. I've only got my phone. He's like, cardless cash. I was like, I'm actually with this bank that doesn't have cardless cash, right? So Corey's like, dude, I'll go home. I'll get your wallet. I'll bring it back. We'll go get some cash out. I was like, thank you. Sit down and get my haircut. It's a great haircut. Fantastic. Well done. And we finish up. And I'm like, so what do I owe you? And he's like, oh, you got to get cash out. I was like, yeah. He's like, I was like, how much? How much? He's Asian.
Yeah.
Right, Not that I'm giving like an Asian stare. I'm just saying there was like a little language barrier. So I had to say how much about 5 times. I'm like, how much? How much? Like friendly though. Like, how much? Like that. How much?
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you.
And he says, get 100 out, there'll be change. And I was like $55 change? Like, what do you mean 100? I bring it back. I get $15 change, bro, for a number one and a beard trim. $85, bro. So if I've got a friend, Steve, friend of the show, shout out. He moved to Melbourne and all of a sudden started growing his hair and now he's got long hair. And I get it. I totally get it, bro. Because if I moved there, I would do the same thing. I'd be you in 10th grade.
I'm still getting over the 85
for a number one.
For a one.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah, man.
Nuts, dude.
Britney Spears got number one for free, dude.
Britney Spears. What's the latest with her? I haven't seen her name or anything pop up for a few weeks now.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm hoping that's good news. I think no news is good news.
I think the last time I saw her was Dancing with Knives. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe it's bad news. When the last thing you see is someone dancing with knives and tapping them on each other and spinning around, maybe you know how you tell your kid not to run with scissors? Don't dance with knives, because if you fall over, it's over.
Yeah, like you meant to have that shit pointing towards the ground when you walk, not up at your face and dancing. But
if you fall over, it's all over.
Bars.
If you fall over, it's all over. So yeah, I get this $95 haircut, and this is like the day after my flight, which I told this story last time, but you're here this time. I want you to hear it too. You know how they start saying like, we're about to board soon, and everyone lines up as if it matters, you know, like you can't go anywhere until everyone's on.
Not getting there any quicker.
Yeah. It matters in terms of like putting your baggage in the overhead and it being right above your seat and not like down the back of the plane or up the front of the plane or whatever. That's where it kind of matters, but it's also a lot of overhead storage. You basically have to be last on and have a massive bag for it not to fit. Anyway, I had a coffee this morning, and it is an airport coffee. So you know, what do you expect that to be? $25 or something? $4.90. I think it was the cheapest coffee in Adelaide.
Bargain. What was it? Just long black.
Yeah.
Some coffee and water.
Yeah. At the airport though. I get one from, I won't name them because they're actually really good coffee, but I don't want to like, every coffee's expensive in Adelaide, but $5.50 for the one near my house. $5.50. $4.90 in the airport, bro. Airport tax. Anyway, I thought that was a bargain, so I'm feeling myself. Well, this is the cheapest coffee I've ever had, and it's actually kind of good. But now we've got a board. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to bring hot drinks on flights, or is that just in America?
No, I reckon that's the thing here. No hot drinks or food.
Yeah. So I finished my coffee, and you know how there's a bin up the front, like right by the gates?
Yeah, as you're about to board, yeah. I
walked up there, put my coffee in the bin, skipped the line. I cut the line, bro. I put my coffee in the bin and walked up like I was meant to be there, dude. It just went on the plane.
Did you look back at all? Or you just couldn't handle the guilt?
I didn't even have guilt, bro. I was feeling myself. I got a $4.90 coffee.
You're a wild cowboy, dude.
I knew I had one of the biggest gigs of my life coming up that night. And following that, I had the Z weekend. So I was feeling myself something chronic, and I just cut the line, bro. It felt good. Shit. Yeah, that's how it felt. I felt like I was somebody. Went to my exit row seat that I paid extra for. I was like, I've got exit row money. I don't have business class money. Because that's ridiculous. You're not going to get business class on a trip to Melbourne. It's 40 minutes.
Nah, not worth it.
Nah, it's up and down. You're up and down. This week though, man, I took a quiz. Online. You ever take quizzes online?
What, just like things that'll pop up on your Facebook timeline?
I googled this.
You googled one, okay?
Yeah.
You were looking for that shit.
Yeah.
What was the quiz?
I wanted to know if I had a touch of the tism. I wanted to see how autistic I am.
How'd you go?
It said that I have mild autism and I should see my doctor.
Should have print screened that shit and just gone straight to fucking Centrelink the next morning, dude.
Yeah, bro. Nah, I think it doesn't give any context to the questions. So it just says like, do you want to like, do you like being out and about? And it's like with my friends, but not. Oh no, do you like being in large groups? It's like absolutely no, I don't. But if it's a large group of all my friends, I'll be fine. But like, no, I don't want to go to Rachel's work Christmas party. No.
Okay. How many choices do they give you? I'm assuming it's multiple choice.
Yes, 6 multiple choices on every question.
Okay.
But they were all just like varying degrees of like, yeah, I do this every day. And then like, if I do this, I want to break down and cry. Like it was mad dramatic.
Okay.
And so like I never picked the mad dramatic ones either because it's like, well, no, because I'm still going to be okay.
So you were just like mid-spec on every answer?
Mid-spec, yeah. But like most of it's more like being antisocial than specced out, I thought. Okay. But maybe I've got it. And so basically I can say and I can say because I've got it. I am it.
Send me the link, dude. I got to get this license too.
Yeah, I'll send you the link, man. But yeah, that was pretty interesting, man. And it was hell alarming when it just said like it said like see your doctor right away.
I just want to know like what you were doing throughout this day to get you to the point where you felt like searching for this.
That's a good question. I don't remember what day it was that I did it, but
like,
it started.
Can you remember the events leading up to it?
Oh well, I was taking a shit, and I take really long shits.
Okay.
So I was like, what's going to pass the time this time? You know, I've finished scrolling. You know, and then you know how you scroll, and then you click the home thing to go back up to the top, and then there's like still the one that you already saw. It hasn't.
We're talking X here.
No. Instagram.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And this you scrolled for like 10 minutes and you refresh it just to go back to the top where you've already seen that picture. So I was like, okay, I guess I've completed Instagram. So what I do, I was like, I'll check if I'm specced out.
I got to put some time aside for that this weekend, I think.
And I came out of the toilet and told Rach I've got autism. She's like, what? So that was my week, man. You been doing much?
Nothing as like fun as that, I guess.
Yeah.
Quiet week for me, man. Just going through the motions till Christmas, really, hanging out for that break.
Oh man, thirsty for it.
Yeah.
The SAG and the studios have made a deal. They've come to a deal. It's a short deal. It's only 3 years long.
Okay.
So to me, that means I believe the sticking point the whole time that for the people that don't know, SAG is Screen Actors Guild. So all the actors in Hollywood haven't been working for, I don't know, 6 months or so, maybe more, because studios have been wanting to use AI.
Just like for me and maybe some of the listeners, does this only apply to films made in America? Like, have other actors around the world been striking? Like, have movies still been getting made here in Australia?
I believe it's just America.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that, though. It's all unsourced here at the Welcome to the Poddy podcast. So, yeah, the sticking point is the AI. So the writers were on strike as well, basically because studios wanted to use AI to come up with scripts and then just use writers to punch them up, pay the writers less because all they're doing is punch ups. Writers were like, fuck that. They came to a agreement that that's not how it's going to work for now. And that's sort of what's happened with the actors as well, because what they were saying is they want to use likeness to create movies. So we don't need to pay Tom Hanks. We'll just use AI Tom Hanks to make a movie. Everyone's going to want to see it because it's Tom Hanks, but we didn't have to pay Tom Hanks $1 million. We just had to pay like some nerd to make sure that it didn't look, that the fingers weren't 7 fingers like the AI has been doing, you know, like
crazy shit.
And obviously all the actors are like, forget that shit. But they've only come to like a 3-year deal. So what I'm thinking is that the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to be background actors, no names, people that don't have any clout that they're going to get rid of, and it's just going to be AI background actors.
So I've just looked up like the first article I've come across, and it's like the 6 main points.
Okay, hit
of
me.
The deal. So number 1 is minimum compensation increases. So performers will earn 7% wage increases effective immediately, followed by a 4% increase on July 1st next year.
By the way, this kind of stuff affects your favorite actors from like Gilmore Girls. No, that's probably about, they probably got paid heaps. Actors that are like character actors or actors on TV shows that aren't like major, like Daredevil. I don't know who plays him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so someone like that. This is who it affects because they actually don't get paid tons. we think of actors as like all multimillionaires, but no, that's, you know, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Sandra Bullock. That's them. They're in a tier of their own. This doesn't affect them so much, but when you get to the level of like just a guy in a, like the guys from, no, I was about to say Suits, but they would have got paid tons for Suits. But like, let's say one of those guys in a movie, Harvey Specter in a movie, is not going to make a lot of money because people aren't going to go, oh, I've got to see him in this. So guys like that don't actually get paid heaps, and they need ongoing work. So that's why you see people do shitty movies all the time, because they need ongoing work. They can't do one movie a year or one movie every 5 years and just live off that. They
probably could, but they've some of them have been in like successful series like Suits, would just have a certain lifestyle they used to live in. So.
Well, yeah, those guys who have been in a series like that probably making $500,000 an episode towards the end. Yeah, we're talking people like lower echelon that are just like they're in shitty rom-coms all the time or shitty horror movies. You're like, oh, why do I see this guy in every horror movie? And you call him this guy because you don't know his name. Those people need to be getting the wage increase. When we're talking wage increase for Brad Pitt, there's no sympathy, right? Like
none whatsoever.
Yeah, but also like it's just, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it, but like it's market value. This guy's in a movie. You're gonna have a successful box office. You're gonna have a successful opening weekend. Leo, DeNiro, Tom Cruise, Scarlett Johansson, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, keep going. So that's 7% wage increase.
7% wage increase, and then following on from that, background actors, stand-ins, and photo doubles immediately get an 11% wage increase.
Wow. Okay.
Plus the hikes in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Point 2 is streaming bonuses.
Okay.
So actors can get I think it's called a success payment. Usually along with the residual payments they'd get.
What's the success payment? When does that kick in?
The success metric is determined by the following formula. The total number of domestic streaming hours over the first 90 exhibition days is divided by the total runtime of the movie or a television series episodes to determine domestic views.
Right.
The success metric is calculated by dividing domestic views by the total number of domestic subscribers. If the result is at least 0.2, a bonus is paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a math guy.
No, me neither, dude. It's in one ear out the other.
Roger has 4 bananas.
Point 3 is disclosure of viewership status. Or stats, sorry.
Right, yeah. So historically, Netflix in particular hasn't ever released data on any of their shows. So even if you're a comedian and you're like trending, number one thing on Netflix, Clay McMath. If I say like, how's it going? How's my special going? They'll say, yeah, really good. They're not going to say, oh, man, you've had 4 million streams in the first 4 hours. They'll just say, yeah, it's going really good, man.
Yeah, so that's all changing now.
Yeah, and that's important because that is, imagine being, and they are a public company, which is crazy. So I guess they release numbers of like how many subscribers they have, which is the metric because that's where they get their money. But like, imagine not releasing your performance to the public who are buying shares in your company, who are investing in you, and you're not releasing that information. Like, I don't release Welcome to the Poddy's information because I don't have to. But like, if someone said, well, any advertiser is going to want to see my numbers. I've reached out to people before, businesses, and said like, oh, I want you to sponsor the podcast. So they've responded, send through your numbers, and I just have not sent them through because I'm like, oh, okay, it's over. So I'm Netflix.
Point 4 is limits on artificial intelligence. So, touching on what you were talking about earlier, film and TV producers must obtain consent from actors to create and use their digital replicas, as well as specify how they intend to use that digital likeness. Actors are entitled to compensation at their usual rate for the number of days they would otherwise have been paid for to do the work being performed by a digital replica.
Right. Okay.
So
that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
So you're not working.
Nah. And you still get paid like you're working. I guess that's why this is just a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Point 5 is minimum number of background actors. So I'll skip through the front part, but in West Coast cities, it used to be 22 background actors. Now it's up to 25. Must be employed.
Okay. More jobs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Biden.
And for feature films, it goes from 57 up to 85.
Wow. Okay. Shout out to Fran Drescher for putting in work, standing her ground.
And then the final point of this is relocation bonuses. Performers in a series who have to relocate for work will be entitled to a maximum relocation benefit of up to $5,000 a month for 6 months.
Up to.
Yeah, but that's a 200% increase on the previous amount.
But what's minimum?
Don't know.
Doesn't that seem dodgy if like they're just increasing the maximum and you can be like, okay, but I'm only going to give you $200. That seems weird. Do you think this strike would have taken as long if like who's a massive actor like Leonardo DiCaprio, if he was the president of SAG instead of Fran Drescher, do you think they would have? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Oh, actually, let me check. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think if Leonardo DiCaprio was the president of SAG instead of Fran Drescher, do you think they would have been like in 24 hours, like, yeah, we'll do what you want?
I don't know, man. I wasn't really following it that closely, to be honest, the whole strike.
I just feel like obviously Leo, like someone of that status would never be the president of SAG. It's different to the NBA where like superstars are the presidents of the NBA PA.
Yeah.
Like Chris Paul, Jaylen Brown. I don't know who. They're pretty much the only two that I can know in recent.
CJ McCollum has been like, I think he's like a VP.
Yeah. Well, yeah, CJ McCollum's like the Fran Drescher of the NBA. It's over. It's over for him.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to him, man. Hope he's okay.
Yeah. I do hope he's okay. But like, he's not your franchise guy.
Nah, never was.
Yeah, like Fran Drescher.
She carried that shit, dude.
The nanny.
Yeah.
Yeah, for 5 years, 5 seasons?
I don't know. Bloody 30 years of reruns.
Yeah. She'd be
now she's about to start getting paid from these residuals.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, on streaming.
Yeah.
That's why she was carrying on.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm about to get paid. Yeah. Anyway, so that's good for them, good for the actors, good for the writers as well. They're back in the game. Good for us. Get our content back. Good for the Welcome to the Poddy podcast. Australia's number one movie podcast.
Comedy, action, or horror. Will this movie win an Oscar? Set design, directing, acting, lighting, or costumes. This segment is Clay's Reviews.
Shout out to Stone and Wood. They're going down like water. Dude, I've been drinking these 2 beers getting shout outs at the start of the Clay's Reviews segment, but I've been drinking these beers. I had a 4-pack of like Mountain Goat in my hand, 3 beers getting shout outs. But unfortunately for Mountain Goat, I didn't actually end up buying their beer because I walked past another beer that had my son's name on it. Great Uncle Kenny's like Wakashabi or something. It's from it's a New Zealand beer, and I've had it before. It's a lager, and I just couldn't go past it because it had my kid's name on it. So
just looked it up now. It's got some cool branding on it.
Yeah, like it's like a man
with a pig jumping at him.
Yeah, Yeah, so I've been drinking those this week. I think I had 2 of those before you got here. So crushing them.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got any more?
I think so. Yeah.
Save us one for Saturday.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll do. So we went to the theater again.
Yeah.
To see Killers of the Flower Moon, directed by Scorsese. It starred, I want to say, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, and can you tell me the lady's name? Do you have her?
Lily Gladstone.
Lily Gladstone. We'll get to her. Now, can you give us the plot?
Yep. When oil is discovered in 1920s Oklahoma under Osage Nation land, the Osage people are murdered one by one until the FBI steps in to unravel the mystery.
Everyone knows this about me. I'm a sucker for a true story. Now, I didn't know this was a true story because I hadn't read the book, but it's based on a book which is based on a true story.
So, do you know, was this like character for character a true story or just based on a true story?
I think these names were like accurate.
This is actually how it all went down.
It's all unsourced here at the Welcome to the Poddy
let's,
podcast.
let's just roll with that.
Yeah. So
we just watched a documentary.
Yeah, it was a doco. I'm gonna get into snacks here. I think I nailed it again. So it was a Western. I thought it was going to be earlier times. So there was cars in this. I was thinking horse and cart. So I got wagon wheels.
Nice.
I was
pretty impressed when Rage pulled those out.
Yeah. So that was cool. And I got a Coca-Cola, which is the color of oil, and probably shouldn't be going in my body, but it did.
Cleans oil.
Yeah. So that was my snacks. What did you go with?
Me and Hannah were pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
Just went with popcorn and Coke. Had a Kit Kat on the side too.
It is hard not to go with popcorn and Coke at the theatre because movie popcorn hits different.
I forget the whole theme snack thing every time I watch a movie as well. I just grab whatever I feel like. I know I'm letting the team down now.
You are because I'd like to have some level of competition here and maybe even vote on who's killing it harder.
I'll step it up going forward.
Yeah, maybe I'll shoot you a reminder next time.
I need that.
Yeah. So, character development. The first conversation we see with Leo, I think his first line might be there's a lot of silence while he sort of is traveling to his uncle's place. De Niro's his uncle. Then they have this big conversation, and it was kind of lighthearted and almost comedic. But we find out he's a simple dude.
Mm.
I thought at the very end of the 3.5 hour movie, I thought we needed more either exposition or some level of why does the word escape me?
Tism, bro.
Demonstration. Yeah. Exposition, some level of exposition or demonstration of just how dumb this guy was. Because I was confused the whole time whether he was evil or stupid or both. And I think they kind of, there was one shot which actually it almost made me emotional. It didn't, but it almost did. Was in the courtroom. There was a close up on Leo when he said that he loves his wife. He definitely meant it in that moment. I think he always did. You could see that. So the stuff he was doing was based on the manipulation from his uncle. So how stupid do you have to be? But we never really found out how stupid he was.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I feel like he was both though.
Yeah. Yeah. He was
Was there a robbery he was involved in? When he just ducked out one night and went with a couple of the boys and what was that other guy's name who had a Osage partner?
Oh, was it Billy?
Bill something.
Yeah, so he was a gambler, and he said in that initial conversation with De Niro, he said, like, he made it clear that he loves money. And he said it another time in the movie, something, I love money maybe more than I love my wife. And so, yeah, you're right. Like, the money was a major factor for him. He even said before he married his wife, it was like when he was still courting her, he said, like, you know, I just want to sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, money's not the only, no, like, I like you. I think you're great, but I'm lazy. I want to sit around and do nothing. He's kind of said it in a joking way, but like he meant it.
Seemed pretty legit.
Yeah.
Because he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Ever.
Yeah.
I
thought he was a real piece.
Pause. So his name was Ernest Burkhart, Leo's character. And I thought he was like a combination between Rick Dalton. Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
No, I never saw it.
Oh, well, his character was Rick Dalton, who was he was like a Western actor, and he kind of had a similar accent. And Arnie Grape. Did you ever see What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
No.
This was the movie where he went full retard.
Leo did.
Yeah. He was...
How long ago was this movie made?
This was like one of his first, I reckon. He was really young. He was like...
93.
Yeah, maybe 15 or something. How much older than me is Leo?
He's 49. So what's that? 16 years older?
Yeah. So he would have been 13, maybe. If again, I don't really do math. But he went full retard in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And I think he was maybe channeling Arnie Grape and Rick Dalton to be Ernest Burkhart.
Is that a young Johnny Depp?
Yeah, Johnny Depp is Gilbert.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Worth watching, by the way, if you haven't seen that one. It was interesting because I think I'd been telling people that hadn't really heard of the movie. Killers of the Flower Moon, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's like a Western murder mystery. But they basically told us in the first scene, like, we're going to be the bad guys.
Remind me, what was the first scene?
It was De Niro basically saying, if you marry one of these women they all die, you're going to get all their oil money. So I thought that was a weird choice because, I mean, having the week to think about it, maybe if it was like a full murder mystery, it would have cheapened it a little bit. But knowing that off rip sort of gave me no reveal.
It was more of a how they done it instead of who done it.
Yeah. It was really the choice of it to be from the perspective of the white people who were evil was because, you know, usually when you watch like 12 Years a Slave, it's from the perspective of the slaves. I can't remember Schindler's List and whose perspective that was from, but usually it's from like the victims, right?
Mm.
And this was from the perspective of the bad guys, which was interesting. But I just thought, just knowing just sort of took a little bit away from me, I thought. Maybe that's basic. Maybe it's more of like a character study. But like, especially given how well, what was her name again?
Lily Gladstone.
Lily Gladstone did. Like, she was, to me, she was the standout in the movie. I would have loved to see more of her, and I would have loved for the story to be from her perspective, given half the movie she was like in a drug-induced coma. So like that wouldn't have been very interesting. But
wow.
Yeah. There was something about the angle of it didn't do it for me, I guess. And the length of it.
Yeah, it was a long film.
Yeah.
I actually yeah, as much as it was long, I didn't mind.
Oh,
how
it had
long
me.
it
It had me. I was gripped
Yeah.
from start to finish. Like, the opening scene where the Indians were dancing in the oil was one of the most like definitely like beautiful scenes I think in the whole just aesthetically
Mm,
in the whole movie, and it was like so early, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be
here we go.
special. And then it like kind of went like super kind of just like basic. There was nothing. There was like some pretty sick landscape shots and stuff, but there wasn't anything like too crazy, I didn't think, until that close up on Leo at the very end in the courtroom where he said he loved his wife. I got a bit choked up at that point, and I got damn near to tears when Leo did the crying scene. That was pretty heavy. I don't know if I want to spoil that, but that was real. That was hectic. I thought he did a really good job there. Anyway, it was a very special type of racism.
Yeah, it was like overly respectful racism.
DeNiro was like acting the whole time. Like his character, De Niro's character was acting like at funerals and stuff, going up to I'm praying for you.
Speaking in the native tongue.
Yeah. But like
But just how long he'd done it for too. Like he'd known these girls since they were kids.
Yeah. And he just like they're just not humans. Like, yeah, we're just gonna kill them and we're gonna get their money. Like he's not calling them savages or like he's really respectful, like, but they don't actually matter because like once they die, we get their money.
Yeah,
it was crazy because like it's just like a racism that you clearly don't see today.
No,
but like it was just it was a very unique type of racism because like I suppose it's like genocidal, but it was more like it was kind of just like one family he was focused on.
Just targeted at this one tribe,
and then like anyone who sort of got in his way. So like the guy who was her ex-husband, who he was like, well, hopefully he's not entitled to the money. We gotta rub him out as well.
Yeah,
yeah. It's just the greed, man.
Yeah, it was all pretty eye-opening. I never knew that there were like Native American land rights over oil.
Neither did I.
That was interesting.
Yeah, but I guess it makes sense, doesn't it?
If you got the land where the oil's coming out, it's yours.
Yeah. Lily Gladstone, man. She did so much by doing so little. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think just the way she carried herself and
her attitude, her like
facial expressions and all that just really sold it.
And like laughing at like the white man's ignorance. And I loved the bit where it was like their first date maybe. She invited him in for a drink. And then the storm happened. And she was like, let's just be quiet. And he went to talk and she's like, shh, the storm's powerful. Like we need to be still. And they went to pour a drink and she was like, I just loved that shit. That scene was like one of my favorite scenes. Because his reactions as well, like those two, I thought their dynamic, their chemistry was so good together. I'd like to see him in something else, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't fully sold on it. Maybe not the chemistry side of it, but more so like him being in love with her. Like he didn't sell me on that. I think he was actually just like an evil dude that just wanted all of her money.
Okay, yeah. So I disagree.
No, that's cool. That's good because we don't
usually. Yeah, because I thought he loved her.
I thought he cared for her. I think he genuinely cared for her, but at the end of the day, he loved money more. And if you love money more than someone, I don't think you love someone then.
Yeah. And I think that's to do with how stupid he was though as well. but like we didn't really know that. We didn't get that. Like that's. I think I needed them to do like an IQ test or like an autism test, or so, do an autism test online before, before they got too deep in the movie, so I could see his results and see if he had to go to his GP straight away.
Dude, he was knowingly. I'm not gonna say it because it's a spoiler.
Yeah, that is a pretty significant spoiler. But that thing that you're talking about is, it's unforgivable. But the way it was sold to him, because he's an idiot, I think, was it's gonna slow her down. It's gonna slow her down. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I just think he was really dumb, and they didn't break that down enough. The thing was, can you read? Can you read? He's like, I could read. Can you read? You got to smarten yourself up a bit. Here, take this book. You got to smarten yourself up. That was really all we got on maybe this guy's stupid. And then like the fact that he did like the fake robbery for the insurance money on his car. Like that was like another dumb thing. And his uncle was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like we're right there and you're doing retarded shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again. Maybe I missed something.
I don't know. Yeah, if you've got a whole day to spare.
Yeah.
This shit was
won't be for a while, but I'd watch that again one day.
I agree. Like I'll probably watch that 10 more times. I thought it was supremely well done. Technically brilliant. Too long. It was too long, man.
Which parts do you think they should have cut out?
I don't know.
Yeah. And that's why
because
it was long, but
yeah,
I feel like it could have been longer. Like the way it ended, it was pretty abrupt.
I want to talk about the ending. A lot of like, I need, like, if we did the podcast straight afterwards, I wouldn't have been able to go through this, because I thought the same thing straight away. I was like, what kind of fucking ending is that? But I think there was a lot there, potentially. I don't know what.
It's like another hour and a half worth of content, I reckon.
Yeah, but like just the like show right at the end was like, I don't know what they were aiming to give us, but thinking about it this week, I thought a million things. I thought, one, the true crime podcast era that we're in and the popularity of that. And they were doing like that live radio show with live studio ones. They were all white people and, consuming media based on the hardships that a minority has gone through. And that's their entertainment sort of thing, was the first thing. Yeah, like it was like a commentary on like, people consuming true crime. This thing happened to somebody and it's our entertainment, which was like meta, because that's what the whole film was.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Scorsese came out and did that, like that final thing about, this, what's his name, died in a retirement home, the other one, went to jail or whatever, and Molly remarried and died when she was this age. And it was 50 something, which DeNiro actually said none of these people live past 50. Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah, well, because he was like, let's just play the long game here, because if she puts you as the person with the rights to everything, she's gonna die when she's 50, and you're gonna get it. I did fall in love with that ending over the week. It took me a while to kind of appreciate what they were saying there, if that's what they were saying, but that's kind of what it felt like. Because the comment at the end was that her obituary mentioned that she was, the sister of A, B, and C, who who had all died, but there was no mention of the murders. And so it was like the dichotomy of like the guilt of white people consuming this media based on like the hardships that people have experienced, but also if we don't tell their stories, they're just going to be forgotten. Which I thought was like, yeah, a week later, I thought it was like really beautiful to like recognize that in that moment as the ending.
Starting to sell me on this ending now.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe I'm looking too deep into it. Maybe I want it to be better than it was. But I
didn't hate it, but at the time I didn't love it. Let's put it that way.
I've got a question for you here. After the trial and all the bullshit that had happened, her whole family had been systematically killed by her husband
and his uncle.
Yeah. She had diabetes. And he was giving her medication and let's say it wasn't working, right? The way it was supposed to. And she comes in at the very end of the film and she says, "What was in the shots?" And he says, "What? What was in the shots you were giving me?" And he says, "Insulin." And she walks out. That was the end of their relationship. Would it not have been over when your three sisters and your mum were all dead?
Were they pinned on him though?
Not entirely.
Yeah, I think she was just giving him the benefit of the doubt. But when it came to that, there was no. It was you were putting this in me. Yeah, someone else might have given it to you, but I gave you orders to go collect it yourself and not have it handed from anyone else in this town.
Yeah,
this was on you.
Yeah, and the thing about it, the thing about the whole insulin thing. We're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to spoiler alert. We don't have a choice here. All right. So basically, DeNiro tells Ernest Burkhart, like, you got to put this other shit in there. It'll slow her down. It'll.
The fuck's that supposed to mean?
Yeah. Like, I guess just like keep her there until we deal with all this other shit, and then you guys can just live out the rest of your days until she dies or whatever. I don't know what the implication was, but this
sounds
shit,
like this dude was head over heels over her, man.
This shit was poison.
Yeah, Leo knew it, man.
Well, he did. He did know it because the guy, De Niro's character, kept saying like, "Make sure you put the whole vial in there, like the whole vial, right? The whole vial." So he was making it very obvious, and Leo's dumbass was just like, "Oh, why does he want me to put the whole thing in there?" And he stopped. He stopped doing the whole thing, and he'd give like a few drops, and then he'd take the rest, and it was fucking him up. So he knew what was happening, and he felt guilty. He didn't want to do it. That's where like he was a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong, but the love stopped him from getting the job done.
Yeah. Okay. Still a piece of shit though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not saying he wasn't a piece of shit, but I do think the love was there in the film, at least. I don't know the book. I don't know the real story. So it's hard to know like what actually happened because this is like Hollywoodified.
Yeah, sure.
But I think in this movie, I think the love was there.
I agree. I think he loved her, but not that much.
Yeah,
you're just willing to like be poisoning her every other day.
Yeah,
like, that's nuts.
It was foul, dude. It was hard to watch that shit. And
I wonder what it was.
They never mentioned it, did they?
We never found out what that substance was.
But oh, dude, the other thing, I haven't got it in my notes here, but I did want to mention is this could have been a miniseries because this was Jesse Plemons, ugly Matt Damon,
Did you hear me laugh when he
Yeah.
turned it up on the screen?
When he knocked on the door to speak to Ernest Burkhart, Leo, he basically introduced himself as like, whatever his title was. And he said, I'm from the Bureau of Investigation. It's, and he's like explaining it. So it was like the inception of the FBI. Like this was the start of the FBI, which is a whole nother, like that's a whole episode of a miniseries, right? Like this is how the FBI got started because the Osage was sending people to Washington to like say.
Wait, this was the first ever Federal Bureau of Investigation. Like
that's what I took from like the conversation they had through the flywire door.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like, I know Scorsese's not going to do a miniseries. He's a film guy, but like, it was 3.5 hours long, man. And like, there's, like you said, the ending could have, it could have told a bit more story there. It could have had a whole episode on the FBI and the fact that they had a Native American guy like infiltrate the town and all that shit. Like it was so rushed, the FBI part. Then they're just like meeting in the field, like giving information and shit. And then it's like, oh, now we know what happened. It's like there was so much that could have, that there could have been there as well. That's why, like, it couldn't have been a shorter movie, but it could have been a longer miniseries.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think there's anything they could have cut out.
No, and it was all pretty valuable, man. There was the character development, especially like Leo and De Niro's initial meeting and their relationship development. Plus, like, we need to know that Leo loves money. So we need to get into like robberies and gambling and all this shit as well to like understand that he's fully motivated by that. And like there was so much build up. Then like you've got to see him court the chick and they're still cutting shit out. They 1 minute she's without child and the next minute she's got 2-year-old. Like that time was moving. It was like, yeah, they did cut a lot of time out, and I wonder what the rough cut looked like. It had to have been 6 hours.
Yeah, didn't think that.
Like if you watch like if DVDs were still a thing and you could see the director's cut of this, like you'd have to have a sleepover.
They still do director's cuts of some movies, don't they? Like release them later on streaming platforms. That's pretty rare, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, I've never watched it. Like I've heard of the Snyder cut for Justice League.
That's probably the one I'm thinking of, but I don't watch that shit.
I would never even watch Justice League, let alone the Snyder cut.
Fuck the Snyder cut.
Yeah. But yeah, then I've already mentioned the Leo crying scene. I don't want to get into that, but like that was pretty amazing acting, I thought. But my estimation is that Lily Gladstone is nominated for Best Supporting Actress for this. I haven't seen a lot of like new films this year, but to not win it would be pretty crazy. But I haven't seen the other performances, but this performance was magical. I thought she was unbelievable. The music was great too. This thing had me like for 3.5 hours, man. I was in there.
Yeah, me too. Maybe it's just a cinema thing, but
yeah, like phone off and stuff.
Phone off. There's no temptation to like get up and go, I don't know, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I do enjoy the experience more.
It's good, yeah.
Event cinemas need to step up their seat game though. I was uncomfortable as fuck for 3.5 hours. Like that would have been good to see at Hoyt's because they've got all the recliners and shit. Except that might be a recipe for sleep. The personal story I've got for this movie to relate to this movie is meeting my uncle for the first time. First time I met him was on the phone. Uncle Herb, rest in peace. And I'll never, ever forget this conversation because it was the finest piece of slang I've ever heard in my life. He said, how you doing? I was like, yeah, pretty good. How are you going? He says, just trying to maintain. I was like, I fucking love that shit, man.
I haven't heard that one in so long, but
just trying to maintain,
yeah.
bro. And then I spoke to my cousin maybe 2 weeks ago, and I'm trying to remember what he said. He said, oh fuck. Oh, I asked him how he was. It's score time.
All right, you want to go first?
I give Killers of the Flower Moon 8 out of 10 insulin shots.
Nice.
What did you go with?
I went with 7.
7?
Yeah.
Fair enough, man. -1 for each hour the movie went for.
Yeah, I think maybe I haven't stewed on the ending long enough.
Yeah.
And not to like just take a whole score down by the ending, but
sometimes you have to.
Yeah, the ending and the length maybe. Even though I said like they shouldn't have cut anything, it's just a long time.
It is. It's
maybe because we watched it in the middle of the day too. That just kind of fucked with me a bit. Like
I just
went in there at 12.
Yeah, I was so surprised to see the sun up when we got out.
There's so many more hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there levels to a 7? Like I feel like there's some movies that have just been like, meh. But that I've given them a 7 too. But this was one of the good ones that I'm giving a 7.
Yeah, there's levels.
I'm underlining it. This was a good 7.
Yeah. There's good everything. There's good and bad everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
just want to make that clear for the listeners. Like,
I can't give you an example. But I think there's been times where I've been like, yeah, it's a 4, but like, watch it.
Yeah, I can recall a few of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes it's just like a piece of shit, but it's like entertaining, you know?
Yeah.
And if something's entertaining, like, go ahead, watch it. And then this can be something that's got you from beginning to end for 3.5 hours, but you're also like, fuck, dude, like, be nice to take a piss or whatever. Yeah. Have a think about the ending. I might look it up even tonight and see what other people think about it, like what they're
jump on Reddit, see what people have to say.
Yeah, how they're interpreting it. But that was that's how I sort of saw it this week. But walking out of there, I was just like, what a cop out.
Yeah.
But I did like the very end. It was like a crane shot or something, or maybe a drone or helicopter shot, bird's eye view of like the real, I guess it was probably Osage, but just like some Native Americans like doing dance. Like,
that was cool.
Yeah.
Cool scene.
See, like,
yeah, I guess they like opened and closed with cool native dance scenes.
Yeah. I think the open was like actors though, and the closing like seemed to me like like a real tribe or something. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong.
Don't know.
But yeah, anyway, it was a banger. How much time we at?
Hour 7.
Oh shit. I do want to do I've got 3 here, but I'll just do one. Song titles as movies.
Let's hear it.
So coming from Steve, friend of the show, long hair, lives in Melbourne, can't afford a haircut, who can? He sent through The Man Who Sold the World. And if I think of a movie that's called The Man Who Sold the World, it would be similar to like Thank You for Smoking. But instead of instead of selling cigarettes, he's like selling the American dream, which is nothing. He's not even selling a product. He's a scammer. He's like the Nigerian prince, but he's a white guy. And it's played by Robert De Niro, obviously. He's the worst white guy in the world. But he's acting like he's the best white guy in the world. And he's just like going, he's a door-to-door salesman, traveling salesman. He just goes to different states, different places, knocks on people's door, and he's selling them the American dream. He's selling them the world. You can have everything. And they're like, how do I sign up? But he doesn't even really know. He's a scammer. But he's just taking people's bread, idiots' bread, like Leo. He goes to Leo's house and he tells this idiot dude, like, for the low price of $500,000, you can have it all. You can have whatever you want. The dream. And this guy pays him and doesn't get anything. His life actually gets worse. He turns into kind of like Brendan Fraser, the whale. All he does is he just binge eats and then throws up and stuff like that. His life turns to shit. And then he kind of turns into Jesse Plemons. And he launches an investigation and he's trying to track down DeNiro for scamming. And the ending, is like, I'd say the ending is similar to what we saw in Killers of the Flower Moon, where Martin Scorsese comes out and it's like a true crime live show where they're talking about the man who sold the world. But while mid-sentence, an arsonist burns down a theater.
This shit sounds like a 4, dude.
Good 4 though. Good 4, man.
Oh fuck.
Who's
that song by? Sorry, to cut you off. The Man Who Sold the World.
You'd have to look that up.
No. Never heard of it. Sorry, man. I'm still shaking the dust off. It's been a minute.
Yeah, no, that's all right. You guys know what it is. Welcome to the Poddy on everything. Make sure you tell a friend about the Welcome to the Poddy podcast. Rate the show 5 stars. Give it a little review. If you give it a funny review, I'll read it out on the show. I think we got a new review this week, and it was from a non-English speaking person. I can guarantee you that. Listen to this. No offense to this fucking absolute Chabat. I definitely saw one. George. It's from someone named George. Great podcast, 5 stars. Shout out to George. I'm so glad to hear this podcast. I listen to this podcast regularly. I hope to recommend that you keep it updated at all times. All the best. Oh, no, sorry. All of best. Yeah, that's it. That's the only new one we've got. But
you heard the man. Keep it updated.
Keep it updated at all times. All of best. Make sure you guys do that. Give us your reviews. We'll read them out if they're any decent, or if they're shit ones like the one George just left. As long as they're 5 stars, you leave them there. We'll read them out. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share it. You share it, you've got a chance to win free merch. That's just how it goes. You share it, let us know how you've shared it, and you automatically enter the draw to win, and that is monthly. That's a monthly draw. So you share it 20 times, you get 20 entries. So that's up to you guys. But we're just trying to grow this bitch, so please do that. ClaimingMathComedy.com for all my comedy stuff, my dates, buy tickets, please buy tickets, and welcome to the poddy.com. No, bungbungcoffee.com for Bung Bung Coffee. It's late. I love you guys. Don't forget to love yourselves, and as always, bung bung.